Hey everybody, welcome to the video. It's Thursday, May the 13th. Some of you have been asking about Alfie, so here he is. He's 31 pounds now, 4 months, and I'm going to let him go now so he can run around a bit. Today's video then is about the CDC's lowering of the UK's travel health notice level to level 3 from level 4, what's needed to get from level 3 to level 2, and what's needed to get from level 2 to level 1. And whether any of that actually makes any difference. And you'll see what I mean when you watch the video. Okay, let's get to it. Some good news then this week for the possibility of travel from the UK directly to the US with UK carriers. The US Centres for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, has lowered its travel health notice for the UK to 3 from 4. This still means that travellers should avoid all non-essential travel to the UK. Ireland, unfortunately, remains at level 4, the highest level. So pretty good, right? Heading towards level 1. Gonna get to level 1, yeah? Well, let's have a look, shall we? I have to apologise as I misinterpreted the CDC's chart in my earlier video. Here's that chart again. Their primary criteria for determining which level a country goes in is the incidence rate. Then it takes account of the testing rate and the test to case ratio. I took the incidence rate to be the number of cases per day averaged over 28 days because that worked, that actually fitted. And I found this, which explains that it is cumulative, not average per day. So that puts a different complexion on it. For the past 28 days, the UK has seen a cumulative 92.4 cases per 100,000 people. For context, on May the 9th, the number of cases per 100,000 people was 3.1. Compared to the US at 12.35, the US therefore had 4 times the number of cases per 100,000 than the UK. So it would actually be better to open the borders, let every American go to the UK, because they'd be 4 times less likely to get COVID. Anyway, I digress. That 92.4 cases puts the UK in the 51 to 100 cases box. The test to case ratio is an average per day over 28 days. And that number is 463. But the best the UK can do is a level 3 with that primary criteria. So the 463 goes in the more than 30 box. Finally, we come to the testing rate, and the best we can do is more than 1,200 tests per 100,000 people over 28 days. Now, these numbers, like all the numbers I've used for this video, are from This World in data, but they look out of whack. Even if they were off by a factor of 100, though, that would still be enough for the best score. So that would confirm the UK in level 3. So if there's no drop-off, we can concentrate on the number of cases, that primary criteria. So to get to level 2, the UK needs to get to 59% of May the 9th's number of cases. And that seems doable. To get to level 1, however, the UK needs to get to 6% of May the 9th's number of cases, and that looks like a pretty impossible task to me. So let's just try and get this in some context. The UK is at level 3. It could get to level 2, and I think it will, pretty soon. But to get to level 1, just on testing criteria, that primary criteria, looks pretty impossible to me. So let's have a look at and see which countries now are in the level 1 table for the US right now. So you think they're all going to be small, they can close the borders pretty easily, and they can get no cases fairly quickly because they've got small numbers of people, and they can understand who's got it, who's not, and isolate them. Okay? So included in this list is Liberia, population 5 million, Nigeria, population 201 million, China, population 1.4 billion, Laos, 7.2 million, Taiwan, 23.5 million, Uganda, 44.2 million, and Vietnam, 96.5 million. So do any of the countries on that list surprise you? I was really surprised because I haven't looked at that list for quite some time, and I kind of forgot which countries were on that list, and I'm really surprised given that the UK now is at level 3. The other factor is that some of those countries are very poor, some of those countries are very large. So is the US just taking at face value what those countries are telling the US, and the US is saying, that sounds reasonable, because they can't do independent verification, that's impossible. So they must be taking this at face value. So they're accepting that China has 4 cases or less per 100,000 people in any given, or any cumulative 28 days. It seems crazy to me, and I hope it seems crazy to you, that they can use that and say, okay, China, you're at level 1, UK, sorry, but you're telling the truth, you're at level 3. So if the UK is at level 3, and the countries on that list on level 1 are countries that I wouldn't have thought. Some of them aren't countries that I thought would be on level 1, and it makes no sense for them to be at level 1. Does it actually matter that the UK is at level 3 and might get to level 2, but will probably not get to level 1? Does that actually matter? And I think the answer is no, it does not matter, because it seems to be more of a made-up thing now than the math would have you believe. So all of that math that I've done, that chart that the CDC produce and give an explanation as to how it's to be used, if they're letting countries like that be at level 1, does it actually matter? My feeling is no, it does not. So that's good then, I guess, in a way, because if the UK doesn't have to get to level 1, that means a path can be found. If a path has been found for these other countries to be at level 1, a path can be found for the UK to maybe not be at level 1, but it doesn't matter. The UK is allowing international flights from the 17th of May. The US is in the amber group, which was revealed by the UK government last week. That means that they've got to fill in a locator form, they've got to have a COVID test at day 2 and day 8, and they've got to pay for them. They can also pay for a test to release on day 5, and they've got to self-isolate for 10 days or get the test to release on day 5. All of that's going to cost about 450 quid, which is about $600 for every person, every US person that goes over there. So is it reciprocal at the moment that the UK is in level 3 and the US is in the amber group, making it difficult but not impossible for the US to travel to the UK? And I think the answer is yes, it's reciprocal. There is no transparency on the UK's traffic light system, so I can't do any math on that. Just got to take it at face value that the UK have put them in the right group. Okay, so we've looked at the countries that are at level 1 in the US CDC table, and let's have a look now at the countries that are on the banned list. One of those countries is China. So how can China be at level 1 but also be on the banned list? I don't see any other countries that are at level 1 that are on that banned list. Sorry, it's Mozzies again. So what does that all mean? It makes no sense to me. So most of the countries that are banned are Europe, and the countries therefore that aren't banned, Africa, Asia. So even though they're on the CDC's level 2, level 3, level 4, they can still come in. That makes no sense to me either. So I think a reciprocal agreement will be found, and I hope it's going to be one that means no quarantine and no COVID tests either on departure, prior to departure, 72 hours before departure to the US, or prior to 72 hours departure to the UK. If there's no testing though, unfortunately, that means that everybody who travels will have to be fully vaccinated, both going from the US to the UK and the UK to the US. At the moment, the US is 34% fully vaccinated, the UK is 26.5% fully vaccinated. So that's going to mean a lot of people are not going to be able to travel. If it's fully vaccinated plus COVID tests, and maybe it'll only be COVID tests for those people who aren't fully vaccinated, and that would make sense to me, then it's going to be, if the UK then puts the US in the green group, that means that you only have to fill in a locator form and do a COVID test prior to departure from the US to the UK. Currently you only have to do a COVID test from the UK to the US as well. So that would make sense. That would be a kind of easy way to do it, but you're going to have to be trackable, and obviously you're going to have to pass that test. But it would open that travel up now to everybody, as long as they've got a negative test or are fully vaccinated. So when's this all going to happen? Well, I don't know. Nobody knows. I'm going to take a punt. I think that the UK will be able to travel from June the 11th, which is President Biden's visit to the UK. I think they could actually travel from today, if I'm honest, because they're better off than the US by quite a bit, and I don't think that it would be an issue if the US allowed the UK travellers in today. However, President Biden's first visit overseas as president is to the UK. That's a pretty special occasion, and I think they'll want to mark that occasion with something that kind of, again, defeats, if you want, the COVID virus. So this would be a pretty momentous reciprocal agreement, because if the US is putting the UK in level 3, that they're going to have some dispensation. If the UK is put in the US in the amber group, then it will have to have some dispensation unless something changes on both sides before June the 11th. I don't think it will, just because then they can have this reciprocal agreement talked about in the press, on the internet and everywhere on June the 11th. Will travel then start up immediately after that announcement is made? I think if you're on an indirect flight, then it could, as long as you're either fully vaccinated or you can get a COVID test pretty quick for the next day. And there are rapid COVID tests out there, so if you can get one, you can be on that plane and off you go. If it's a direct flight with a European carrier from the UK, then I think you're going to be out of luck. The reason I think that is because you can't just get pilots and crew and planes into a place where they can fly the next day, nor can you leave people who are going on vacation to that day either. From what I'm seeing, flights are being cancelled maybe a month or more out. So if they're cancelling a month out, then it's unlikely they're going to tip the airlines and holiday travel operators the wink, because they'll have to tell everybody that's involved, pilots and crew and aircraft maintenance people and everybody. So if it's announced on June the 11th, then I think we're not going to see direct flights leaving the UK until maybe July the 11th, maybe a little earlier. It depends how long they can delay cancelling the flights. They're my ramblings anyway on this. I hope they made some sense to you. The whole situation, now that I know which countries are in level 1 and which are on the banned list, makes no sense to me whatsoever. But there we go. I'm going to be back on Monday morning with the video for the news roundup for the week. Until then, stay safe everybody. If you like the video, please do give it a like. The algorithm does like the likes, as we know. If you've stuck around for a while, or this is even your first time and you've enjoyed this one, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you'll get this stuff every week, sometimes twice a week, if you can stand it. So until then, I'll see you Monday. Take care everybody. See you then. Bye bye.